Rio Tinto donated to this community center over, basically it's Old City Hall. This was a mural they painted in the stairwell. Really just kind of blends the role they played in our community, which they've been a huge part of this community for a lot of years. It ties their history and culture with our history here, and our city hall's on there. Painting done by local artists. Go check it out sometime if you can. It's in the stairwell towards the front of the building there, and just amazing. It's a floor-to-ceiling mural, just well done.
Welcome to Herrimanology,
the official podcast to keep up with Herriman City.
We'll take you inside the city, explore the latest news and updates, show you how your government operates, and discuss the issues that affect us all. Now, here are your hosts talking all things Herriman on Herrimanology.
All right, welcome to Herrimanology. It is Thursday, January 30th, and I think we're going to get some winter starting this weekend. Fingers crossed. The weather people in the know say that there's precipitation coming. Now, it's going to be the 50s next Tuesday, so yeah. I think there's going to be some rain, too. Maybe a good time to mention, since we've hardly had any snow, when it's snowing, the new parking ordinance, new as of more than 12 months ago,
right.
14 months ago,
Prior
whatever
last
it is,
winter. Yep.
Park on the side of the street with even-numbered addresses. So
good reminder.
We haven't really had to deal with that.
It's been a quiet year.
We had all this
plows.
Messaging ready to go, and we've had about 2 inches of snow. So.
Right, total.
Anyway, that's coming up. Enjoy the nice warm weather next Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever it is. Anyway, didn't plan to do a weather forecast, but here we are.
Here we are.
I'm John LaFollette, Communications Manager for Herriman City, joined today by Mayor Palmer. How are you doing?
Good to be here.
Good to see you as always. Before we get everything else, I want to mention Monday is February 3rd, and that's the day that we've decided rodeo tickets are going to be on sale. We know some people get really hyped for that. So I think just midnight, like first thing Monday morning, if you're just sitting on your saddle ready to get your rodeo tickets, Herriman, there are actually a few ways to get there now. It's always been herriman.org/rodeo, but now it's herriman.gov/rodeo and herrimanrodeo.com.
New website,
or herrimanrodeo.org. They're all going to go to the same place.
And there's some new social media channels for the rodeo.
Mm-hmm. Yes, good. I didn't think of that. Yes, we've started Facebook and Instagram page for the rodeo. Wanting to share some content throughout the year that would kind of seem out of place on a city government page.
Right.
But we have a really good rodeo.
Very popular. People come from around the region for it. So it's good. It's fun to already have some drawings and gear given. It was fun.
Yeah. So search Fort Herriman PRC Rodeo if that's something you're interested in, and even if you're not, maybe you'll become interested.
Absolutely.
So rodeo tickets on sale Monday. herrimanrodeo.com. We'll get you to the right spot. Earlier this week, there was a ribbon cutting. It wasn't really announced. It was kind of a small event, but over at the community center, what happened?
So Rio Tinto donated, made a good, a very sizable donation to the community, to this community center over, basically it's Old City Hall, right? That's going to be repurposed for the community. And so this was a mural they painted in the stairwell. Really just kind of blends like Rio Tinto's, the role they played in our community, which they've been a huge part of this community for a lot of years. Employees, live in our community, that everything tied together. So it ties their history and culture with our history here, and our, it's got city halls on there. So it's a lot of cool. So we just celebrated that. It was a, painting done by, local artists that did that. And we just celebrated that, ribbon cutting, and took some pictures. And really, go check it out sometime if you can. Yeah. It's in the stairwell towards the front of the building there, and just amazing. It's a floor-to-ceiling mural. Just well done.
You can see a blend of time with past, present, and future. Just an homage to the community over the last, things just over 120 years that the mine has been there, and that obviously is a big part of the start of Herriman and this area of the Salt Lake Valley in general. So.
Right, and they've been good partners to us out here, so it was good to have just a celebration. So it was good.
The legislative session is ongoing. There's a lot going on there. Maybe not quite things that hit the city quite yet, but it's coming, right?
It's coming. We kind of joked. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I'm going to. So in Utah, you cannot recall an elected official at all. You cannot recall. If you don't like your legislator, you can't recall him. If you don't like your I'm
laughing because I know where this is going.
Right. There's a bill to be able to recall one elected office. That's it. And it is that of mayor. So somebody must have an axe.
Getting a little warm,
somebody must have an axe to grind with the mayor somewhere. So we're going to fight that unless people don't want us to fight it. We'll see. So kind of became a running joke this week up there because some of our council spoke in support of it. And so, my seat was getting a little warm, but no, it's
teasing back and forth.
We're just fun. It's fun back and forth. Yeah. We've got a great council that we all get along, but it was just funny that, the concept is, the joke was if it's for mayors, it should be for everybody or nobody. So We'll see.
Fair enough.
So fun little bill on the hill. So
there you go, a little seat warmer there. We do expect some bills related to housing and development and water and things like that to be coming down the pipeline, if you will. Fair to say that none of them have really gotten to a point they're worth talking about here yet, but
right.
But coming, hopefully. Well, hopefully, maybe depending on your perspective.
Right. Absolutely. First couple weeks are mainly budget, appropriations, that sort of stuff. Then they get into the meat and potatoes of it, if you will. So we'll see. Fun time of year.
Great time of year. Only 5 weeks left.
Oh, but who's counting?
We did get a question, and we say this every week. As always, leave a comment or a question. You can email communications@herriman.org. That seems to be how most people send in questions, which is great. An irrelevant topic right now. So this one was from John. He said, you've discussed the proposed sports complex several times on the Herrimanology podcast. If Herriman decides not to build the sports complex, what are the other options for that land? I hear a lot of comments for and against the sports complex, but not a lot of ideas about what else could be done.
Right.
So what are your thoughts on
that? I mean, that's a great question. Right now, I think the key is right now the city does not own that property where the sports complex would be. That's what we're doing. Is the thoughts are to trade some pieces of land. There's 3 parcels involved right now that the city, right now we own 2 of them technically is all right now. The 20 acres on 5600 and 129th, we call it Walker Cove. That was envisioned to be a public works complex that we've actually, even prior to this, I think that's another thing to clarify. Even prior to these discussions, we had already decided to move that away from the residents. It's not a great, public works buildings don't make a good neighbor. There's beeping, there's a lot, lights, there's noise, all hours of the night. They don't make great neighbors. So we've anticipated keeping that at Butterfield Park and where it already is. So we've got,
and that one, by the way, on the website is labeled as Walker Cove.
Walker Cove.
So if you're looking at the interactive, this isn't the athletic complex site. This is a city-owned site.
Correct.
Called Walker Cove that you're talking about.
Correct. Yes. So that's the one piece we do own that we don't know what we would do there, right? I mean, it's the idea with the athletic complex is to bring outside money, because we can't afford to build that. I don't know what we could not afford. I don't know if we could afford to build anything right there at present on that piece. The other 2.5 acre parcel that we're moving away from that anyways as a fire station. That would have to go, that would probably go out to, we have to sell it at that point. And it was already zoned for, that 9 or 10 homes or 11 homes. I think it's already zoned for that. So that would be what's going there anyways. So that's really not changing. And then there's a existing regional park that's smaller. It's 20.
And this one is called the Creek Ridge property on that map.
Yep. And that one would be on our plan to build at some point down the road once, it's deeded to us from the developer over in that area. But again, it would just be a park, probably your typical park with grass, playgrounds, but probably years down the road. And that's not to try to, I'm truly not trying to take a side. We have not decided anything yet. That's just kind of what the thoughts would be. But where the regional park would be, right where the planned athletic park is, would be homes. It's already entitled to homes. It's already entitled to build, homes in that area. So
and owned by the developer.
Owned by the developer. Yep, and entitled, approved. Actually, the home builders already bought those lots, and so they're actually hitting pause to see if this goes through, and they'd be willing to move to a different area. But again, if this falls through, they would just be homes there. We wouldn't do anything else. That would just default back to homes in that area.
Yeah. So maybe not a satisfying answer to the question, because there are probably a lot of creative options that people might be thinking of. There's this big empty field here, and it's unfortunately not quite that simple. And to your point, the city doesn't really have the money to be very creative in that spot. But the athletic complex presents an opportunity for other funding sources to build this complex that the city can't afford to do on our own.
Right.
And other ideas may or may not present the same sort of options.
Correct.
So hopefully that answers your question, John. If not, sorry. You can reach out to us if you have any further ideas or questions, but that's kind of where that stands.
Yeah, John,
now.
feel free to call me. My number and email are on. I'm happy to discuss even further, so reach out.
And speaking of the athletic complex, no major updates this week, but Tuesday morning between 9 and 11, the city council is going to have a work meeting discussion about this. And that's during the day. It'll be recorded. It'll be live streamed on our Facebook page and YouTube, just like every city council meeting. But that'll be the topic for between 9 and 11. So if you're interested, you can check that out.
That's
and
the only topic.
If there are any significant updates, I don't know if there will or won't be. I don't really anticipate any, but if there are, we'll make sure to publish them on the Athletic Complex webpage. As you said, we're trying to be painfully transparent about this,
Yes.
which keeps my plate full, but
Yes.
but it's good. That's what the city council wants, and the city does value transparency. So if you are not familiar with that, you can go to harriman.gov. Under the community tab, there's a community information drop-down menu, and you can find athletic complex there, or you can go to harriman.gov/athletic-complex, and you can find kind of general overview of what's being worked on and talked about. So
Perfect.
That's all for today. It's been a little while since it's been a slower-ish week.
Right.
It's never really totally slow here, but anyway.
Yeah, slower-ish. Yes.
Thanks for coming and carving out a few
Thanks
minutes.
for having on. Yep.
As always, thank you for listening and watching. Let your neighbors know if you like the podcast. If you don't like the podcast, let us know and we'll fix it. Anyway, that's all for today. We'll catch you next time.